welcome you all to the latest edition of The Beat. I'm Will Johnson. We're going to begin with baseball. As for the 2017 Aggies, they are currently 10-8 in the SEC. They sit pretty well in the RPI as they hope to gain an 11th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. This weekend, they're in Columbia for a 3-game set against the Missouri Tigers. That's the update on the current Aggies. As far as those who just left this program, they find themselves riding through the farm system of the major leagues, hoping to reap the fruits of their labor and eventually gain a spot at a major league ballpark. Aggies last year, pros these days. For members of the 2016 team, the minor league grind is underway.
It's a lot different. You can't take for granted how many fans you get here at A&M. I think we averaged probably 200 fans, felt like 25. It's just real dead. You don't get the atmosphere you do at A&M, but then you do learn a lot. You learn a lot. You're around great players, great coaches. So it's a real learning experience. I mean, every day you're getting better. It's straight baseball.
It's pretty crazy, you know, playing every day. Here you play 3 or 4 times a week. Here we had chartered planes and everything, but there you got 12-hour bus rides and you got 2 to a seat and you're squished. But you make a lot of good friends up there and it's a lot of fun.
It's eye-opening. You try to talk to as many people as you can that have been through the minor leagues and kind of get a grab on what to do, what to experience is going to be like. And the first summer is just getting your feet wet. You're still playing baseball, you're still playing the same game. Still 60 feet, 6 inches to the plate, but it's a different vibe to it. There's a lot of individuals that are fighting for spots, and they're on your same team. And so, you do whatever it takes to get you separated, get you to the next level, and it's everybody's dream to get to the major leagues, and I think that's what drives you.
During the offseason, they could converse with an Aggie who's made it, the Cleveland Indians' Tyler Naquin, who worked out in College Station after a sensational rookie year, capped with a World Series berth.
It's a process, and you have to trust it. If you don't trust it, you want to be bitter about it and take it the wrong way. You're gonna have a long time. Injuries are gonna happen. Moves that don't even have to do with your playing ability are gonna have to happen between the big leagues, AAA and AA. A lot of things are out of your control.
He's the coolest dude you ever meet. Not too big for anybody. It's awesome, and whatever you ask him, he'll answer. And he was just talking about the World Series, how special it was. You got a knock in the World Series, so I feel like that's the coolest thing you can experience ever. Too bad they came up short, but it was just a cool experience, especially rookie year. Can't really beat that.
Me and Tyler have known each other since I was in high school, so our relationship has grown since I've been in college and then outside of college. So I've got to talk to him a little bit. He said, he got luckier than anyone he's ever met. His rookie year, gets to play in a World Series. He's in the top 3 running for Rookie of the Year. He had a great season. And just talking to him, he just says, the big thing when you're playing in the big leagues, you just got to slow down. You got to slow everything down because it'll speed up on you quick. He's worked his way there. He deserves that spot, and I'm happy for him.
Different situations call for different players, so you got to know yourself as a player and how you can contribute to that team at that given time. And it's just, you got to have fun, man. You put too much pressure on yourself. This game, you already fail so much, so much of the time that it's not even, almost like uncomprehendable how you'd even want to play the game because you just fail so much. But you got to have fun, man, and enjoy your teammates and enjoy working at it.
The grind and the effort continue for this major leaguer and those with big league aspirations. On opening day of the MLB season this year, there were 6 Aggies that found themselves on 25-man rosters. 4 of them were pitchers. Michael Waka of the Cardinals, Ross Stripling for the Dodgers. Alex Wilson goes to the hill for the Detroit Tigers, and Daniel Mingden for the Oakland A's. Now, Naquin is one of the position players. The other is Cliff Pennington of the Los Angeles Angels. When we come back, we have softball head coach Joe Evans in our studio.
The Beat, brought to you by ASCO, your place for case construction equipment in Texas.
Welcome back to 12th Man Studios and The Beat. Over the weekend, Texas A&M softball swept the Georgia Bulldogs in College Station, and the Aggies are now 40-5 overall this season, and they are in the hunt for an SEC title. With that, we have their head coach, Joe Evans, with us in studio. And I go back to what I just said. I mean, 40-5, and plus the non-conference schedule you put together. You're also doing this in the SEC. Do you even marvel at your record a little bit this time of year?
I'm happy about it for sure. You know, you just never know when you start a season and a new year with the ball club. You think you're going to be good, and you don't know. You don't know if somebody's going to get injured or you're just going to underachieve or what's going to happen. So I'm really happy with where we are right now. I think our kids have done a great job staying consistent.
Georgia, the series, you blew them out in the first game, nearly run-ruled them, and then there was two real low-scoring games, and you pull off shutouts. Did it kind of prove you can win in multiple ways? Yeah,
it really did. You know, I walked away from this series thinking we can win any number of ways, any different hero in a game. And pitching was big for us this weekend, and the weekend before we struggled a little bit, you know, with our pitching. And so it was nice to see that we could have our pitchers come out and be really strong and recover from a couple of bumps in the road. And then some different hitters at given times that came up for us with big hits. So, yeah, any coach would love that. You don't want to have to rely on one or two players day in and day out. It's just that's a little risky.
Mm-hmm. Now, coaches and players live day to day. Yeah, you're just trying to get better with the next practice, focus on the next game.
Right.
But in today's world, rankings and RPI and predictions of what's going to happen in the NCAA tournament, it's always out there. And I know you have to be looking at the fact that you're in the top 8 in the RPI, and that can get you a host spot all the way through the regionals and supers.
Yeah, you know, the first day we met with our team, I talked about what we're playing for. We're playing to host regionals and super regionals. That's the most important thing. If we win an SEC championship, right on, that's great too. But we've got to have that opportunity to host regionals and super regionals to win a national championship most often. It's hard to go through that road if you're on the road. So that's a big focus for us. So at this point in the season, or right now, we can say, hey, if it was the end of the season right now, we'd have a chance to host. That's great. But 2 big weeks can change everything, which we still have on our plate. So, but right now, absolutely happy with it, and it's a big deal for us to be in this position.
Finally, in a moment on this show, we're going to spotlight Tori Vitalis and her background. And we know what she does on the field. I mean, she can leave the yard at any time. She's a good defender for you, a great player.
Yeah.
But when we don't see her off the field, locker room, practices, is she kind of that energy bringer and a vocal leader that coaches always ask for?
Well, she definitely, she's strong-minded and has strong opinions. And the good thing is when you have a player like that, with Tori, she cares about her team. So those opinions and her thought process involves making our team better and being able to step up and say that and rally people to get that done. And she's not someone who's constantly talking about things and trying to rally the team, but she does see, she's perceptive. She sees what's going on and she understands what it's going to take for us to win games. So in that sense, she's got that leadership that you would want in any player.
Best of luck in Kentucky this weekend. It's been a terrific season thus far. We will continue to follow you as you're down the stretch in the regular season, and like you said, hopefully that postseason right here in College Station.
All right, thanks a lot.
Joe Evans in studio with us on the beat. Tori Vitalis, we spotlight her on the other side. Welcome back to The Beat. Our thanks to head softball coach Joe Evans, who joined us moments ago in studio. And you heard her, to wrap up, discuss her power hitter, Tori Vitalis. You'll find with Tori, she gains her strength from her mother, father, and brother. And right now, The Beat features the Vitalis family. Some families just seem to carry the athletic gene. John and Rhonda Vitalis found out at an early age their son Josh and daughter Tori had it, along with possessing the drive that is required to become elite. Only 3 years apart in age, the Vitalis siblings developed a love of baseball and softball.
Tori got into softball by watching her older brother play baseball, and she actually started in baseball, t-ball. Anything that Josh did, she wanted to do. When he rode his bike, when he first rode his bike without training wheels, she wanted to try it. So we took them off and tried it, and didn't work out, so we put them back on, told her she needed to practice a little bit more. Between the two of them, she was more, I'm not gonna say hard-headed, but she was more stubborn than my son. So when you try to teach your son something, he kind of tunes you out. But Tori would look at you and say, I'm doing the best I can, or I'm trying, like that. So, and after a while, you know, I just was tell her, don't try it, do it.
The LaPorte, Texas natives had to split time once the siblings began playing in high school.
My brother and I talked about how my parents were always going back and forth, because when we would play at home, the baseball and the softball field backed right up to each other. So they could stand on the visitors' bleachers of the baseball field and look over and watch me hit.
In high school, the softball team would start at 6:30, and the high school boys would start at 7. So Tori would hit third or fourth, so we'd set our seats up in softball, and we'd watch Tori hit the first inning, and then we'd run over and catch Josh hitting the first inning of his game, because he led off.
We would have friends that would be at the baseball field that would say, okay, Josh is on deck. So Tori would finish up and we'd get out of the stands and we'd run over to the baseball field, or if we couldn't make it, you know, we'd go to the top and watch back and forth.
I did dabble in other sports and I really liked those sports, but I think for me what the biggest thing was is my brother was doing it. So knowing that I had to do everything he did, and I wanted to be just like him when I was little, I still do. He's such an awesome person. So for me to be able to kind of follow in his footsteps and do something that he loved, it kind of made me love it even more. I play softball and he plays baseball. We kind of see it as the same thing. You know, we're definitely one and the same in the way that we play the game and the way that we respect the game. And I think that comes a lot from our parents and the way they've raised us, and the mentality that we've grown up with towards the game.
Josh played at Houston before being taken by the Oakland A's in the 2016 draft. Tori had the opportunity to play just down the road at Texas A&M, and her parents could not have been more elated.
Oh, it was awesome. I can't even explain it. You know, I didn't have that opportunity. Our dad did. He played in college, but it was just surreal. It was just wonderful. She's incredible. I'm very, very proud.
For me, just knowing that I have someone there to support me and always cheering me on, even if I strike out 3 times and make 4 errors, you know, they're still gonna be like, good job, I love you. Like, it's just so refreshing to know that someone cares about you that much.
Tori has excelled at A&M. The All-American and All-SEC player credits the support of her family with her success. The brother-sister duo's bond grows not only through the love of the game, but through the realization they will always have each other to lean on.
One day it all does come to an end and your family is forever. So I think that knowing I am always going to be there for him and knowing that he's always going to be there for me is something special and something that a lot of siblings don't have. So for us to have that, I think that's something that you can't replace. Softball has shaped me into who I am today, and I truly believe that is because of my brother and my family.
The Beat, brought to you by Memorial Hermann, official sports medicine partner of Texas A&M Athletics.
We return to the south end zone of Kyle Field and 12th Man Studios. On Thursday night in Philadelphia, the National Football League will hold its annual player draft. As usual, there'll be an Aggie influence in it, and there could even be a monumental first. Right now, The Beat brings you its draft preview. Under Coach Sumlin, Texas A&M has one of the most successful college football programs in the NFL draft. It's been 6 straight years the Ags have had a player go in the first round. It'll be no different in 2017. Let's get you ready for what to expect. Unless you haven't turned on a TV in recent months, you know that Myles Garrett is the talk leading up. Pundits have debated ad nauseum if he will indeed be the first player selected and make history for the Aggies. If so, he will go down as the first from A&M to be selected #1 overall. A&M has owned the second spot. 5 players have been taken with this selection, including Luke Jokel, Von Miller, Quentin Coriat, John David Crow, and John Kimbrough. In fact, 34 total Aggies have gone in the first round. Although you hear most about Miles, the overall Aggie influence on the draft could go a long way. Safety Justin Evans, defensive end Deshaun Hall, and wide receiver Josh Reynolds have seen their stock rise during the combine season. Most mock drafts see day 2 as a landing spot for these guys. And what is an NFL draft without some Aggie offensive linemen being taken? Jermaine Illuminor and Avery Genesee will look to continue the Maroon Goons tradition on the next level. Lastly, Trevor Knight, Speedy Noyle, and Ricky Seals-Jones have a chance to join their new NFL brethren this upcoming weekend. Projected possible late-round picks, this trio will come in with a point to prove from day 1. With all this being said, we wish our Aggies good luck in their future doing what they love to do. For months, we've been asking if Myles Garrett is the first ever Aggie to go with the #1 overall selection. We are not far away from our answer. Again, good luck to all those guys in the NFL draft starting on Thursday night in Philadelphia. Back in a moment to close out the beat. A few notes before we close out the beat. First, men's golf. They went to the SEC tournament in Sea Island, Georgia, and completed play on Monday. They made it to the championship round of match play. They were defeated by Vanderbilt, and it took 5 holes of a playoff for the Commodores to top the Aggies. An epic contest. Well done by Texas A&M men's golf. They now look forward to the NCAA regionals. Track and field. Earlier this week, both the men and women were given #1 monikers. Remember the men, they won the indoor national championship. And now the Aggies, the men and women, are both #1 in the nation. They will go to their SEC championships soon enough in May. And finally, if you're coming to Reed Arena for the basketball season in 2017 and 18, you might notice a new video board. It will be complete in time for tip-off. It will be the largest in the country. So that is all the time we have on this edition of The Beat, and we will certainly see you next week.